one course meal. This episode is so dark, you almost forget it's supposed to be a kid's show. And, of course, Plankton is the one trapped in the middle of this cartoon nightmare, entirely against his will. It all begins with Plankton getting dangerously close to stealing the Krabby Patty secret formula. This time, he's really right there, close enough to almost taste victory. But then, Pearl appears. And for Plankton, that's like someone just hit a giant whale incoming alarm. In his world, a whale isn't cute or friendly. It's more like a biological vacuum cleaner. And Plankton is the snack-size setting. He bolts back to the chum bucket, half running, half panicking. And right then, you can see that look in Mr. Krabs' eyes. The look of someone who just came up with an extremely cruel idea. And that's only the beginning of Plankton's personal horror arc. Later, Plankton takes out the trash, and of course, Pearl is sitting inside the trash can, waiting, lurking, like a walking whale-themed horror movie. Plankton rushes back inside, boards up the door, and hides in his lab as if he's trying to survive a zombie outbreak. But even there, Pearl finds him again, and she is definitely not there for polite conversation. From here on, everything turns deeply psychological. Plankton runs to Karen for help, but when he returns, Pearl is gone. Karen doesn't believe a word he says, and that's when the nightmare truly begins. For 2 whole weeks, Plankton refuses to turn on a single light, and he doesn't eat. He barely sleeps. He just sits there, tiny, shaking, and barely functioning. And we haven't even reached the dream yet. That part is genuinely disturbing. In his dream, Plankton runs down an endless hallway, chased by a gigantic whale that looks like it's never chewed a meal in its life. Pearl swallows him whole, and he ends up in her stomach. There, he finds his own ancestors waving at him, half dissolved. And if you think that's the lowest point, it isn't. Plankton wakes up and immediately breaks into tears again. He can't keep living like this. Honestly, who could, after 16 days of whale-induced terror? Then Pearl reappears laughing, but suddenly the truth comes out. That isn't Pearl. It never was. Mr. Krabs has been dressing up as his own daughter for 16 days, just to keep Plankton in constant paralyzing fear. No secret formula, no profit, no reason, just pure cruelty. Plankton reaches the point where he sees no way out. He walks out into the street, ready to give up. But SpongeBob stops him, explaining that everyone fears something, even Mr. Krabs. And when SpongeBob accidentally reveals that Krabs was pretending to be Pearl the whole time, Plankton snaps. He switches from victim to attacker. He marches into the Krusty Krab and confronts Krabs with his biggest fear: mimes. Yes, mimes. For a moment, Plankton actually looks powerful, but then a group of real whales appears, and his terror crashes back like a tidal wave. This episode shows a side of Mr. Krabs so dark, you almost forget Plankton is supposed to be the villain. And this is only the first horror story. Are you happy now? This episode feels like the exact moment the show forgets it's meant for children, and instead takes a deep dive into Squidward's emotional abyss. And believe me, that abyss goes deeper than rock bottom. It starts innocently. SpongeBob is laughing while reading a book. Squidward watches him and thinks, what could possibly be that funny? Because SpongeBob is laughing like he just discovered the meaning of life. Plot twist, it's the Krusty Krab work schedule. Squidward is confused, but SpongeBob explains that it's his happy book, a collection of his favorite memories. Squidward wonders what his happiest memory is, and when realizes he doesn't have one. Not even a single one. That's the moment the episode switches from funny to oh no. Squidward tries to shrug it off, but then SpongeBob, unintentionally, destroys him with one simple question. How can you live without happy memories? The sentence hits Squidward like an emotional sledgehammer. He breaks down crying. SpongeBob cries with him because of course he does. The scene is so raw, you almost forget this is a squid in a fast food restaurant. Naturally, SpongeBob decides to fix the situation, which never ends well. From here, SpongeBob tries everything to give Squidward a happy memory, but every attempt fails harder than the last. A concert, disaster, an art museum, emotional trauma, a balloon ride, a slow-motion tragedy. SpongeBob keeps trying, Squidward keeps sinking, and the universe seems determined to make sure Squidward never feels joy again. And yes, it gets worse. The failures stack up. Squidward falls deeper into depression. Even SpongeBob starts to realize something is seriously wrong. He throws a party for Squidward, and no one shows up. So SpongeBob creates dozens of papier-mâché guests, well-intentioned, but emotionally devastating. Squidward sees only one thing: the face of the person who pushed him into this emotional collapse. He snaps completely. He destroys everything. Papier-mâché SpongeBobs fly through the room like cardboard victims. And the episode ends without a happy ending. Not even close. Are you happy now? Doesn't just hint at depression. It shows it openly, and this is only the second horror story, Graveyard Shift. This episode feels like a late-night visit to the Krusty Krab. Dark, strange, and just unsettling enough to make you question if you'll get out alive. Squidward is closing the restaurant, ready to go home. But then a customer appears in the middle of the night. Squidward tries to send him away, but the customer says he'll take his money elsewhere. Mr. Krabs hears that instantly, of course he does, and turns the Krusty Krab into a 24/7 business on the spot. SpongeBob is thrilled, Squidward is horrified, and it's only going to get worse. To slow SpongeBob down, Squidward tells him a scary story, introducing one of Bikini Bottom's darkest urban legends, the hash-slinging slasher, a fry cook who lost his arm, replaced it with a rusty spatula, and got hit by a bus. He returns every Tuesday night, not to work, but for revenge. Squidward lists the 3 warning signs: flickering lights, mysterious phone calls. 3 knocks on the door, and instantly all 3 happen, one after another. The lights flicker, the phone rings, silent, then 3 knocks. Squidward's soul practically leaves his body. A bus pulls up outside. A dark figure steps out, holding a spatula like a weapon. SpongeBob panics. Squidward panics even harder. The figure approaches, slowly, dramatically, until he steps in and reveals himself as a teenager applying for a job. He just forgot to put the spatula down. But that explains nothing else that happened. Even after the reveal, the atmosphere stays unnervingly dark. The Krusty Krab feels less like a restaurant and more like a place you should never be after midnight. Graveyard Shift shows SpongeBob at its darkest, full of tension, fear, and unsettling energy. And there are so many more episodes that get even stranger. And even worse, if you want more secrets, creepy moments, and unhinged stories from Bikini Bottom, like the video before Mr. Krabs locks it behind a paywall. Subscribe, unless you want Pearl to appear behind you. And follow me so you never miss another bizarre dive into Bikini Bottom. The next video, you won't believe what SpongeBob and his friends go through next.